Good morning. It's Ayya Vimala. It's Tuesday, July the 7th, and I'm coming to you from Crystal Lake, where I'm feeling like I'm going to be staying much more of the time when I listen to a little bit of, try to update myself on a little bit of the news this morning. It seems like this nation is in I don't want to say what I think. This nation is in a world of hurt and trouble. It sounds like people decided to be wild and crazy over the 4th of July, and we see cases are already spiking. My hometown is Houston, and if Houston is the thing that's most amazing about Houston to me is it is an enormous, gigantic hospital center, medical centers, and teaching universities, and people from all over the world coming there. Everything is a hospital. You know, the people's neighborhood hospitals are giant, incredible, enormous places. And I've been watching and paying attention to the news there, and all the big cities in Texas are incredible medical centers, but Houston is the biggest, and they are reaching capacity for ICU beds for treating COVID patients. So that's, for me, because I visit there and have watched this since I was young, watched the medical centers grow in Houston, that's pretty overwhelming. So we have to be really aware and really vigilant and really careful about what we're doing. And hopefully all of you listening and or watching are doing that. This is not something we can decide, okay, everything's all better. We've reached the end of our patience, is what that means for most people. And let's just go out and get back to normal and everything will be okay. And that's being delusional. That's what we call ignorance in Buddhist teachings, because that's not paying attention to the reality of the world we see around us, or the reality of the way nature works. So please remember mindfulness, remember your concern for others, remember our bodhisattva vows that we are taking every day when we say my wish together. And when you're any of these lines that catch you, that you have memorized, be sure when you feel stressed out or anxious, just remember and say to yourself or say out loud any of the chants you remember, any verses in English or in Pali. Don't worry if you don't have Pali memorized. I started another Pali class last night online, and I got in early, tried to get in early because I knew it might be crowded. And even when I went in about 15 minutes before, the class had reached its limit of 100 for a Zoom class, but they had a backup, and that was a live stream on YouTube. So I went to that and got in very easily, and it was a great way to do the class. But there were over 450 people who couldn't fit into the Zoom class. So for the first class, for an introduction to Pali class last night, people were all around the world. There were 553 people for an hour and 15-minute class, and I was just amazed. I know Diane Brodson's in the class too, and we were messaging after the class about how incredible that in that one class alone there were 553 viewers, and maybe more than one person at each computer and each phone. So that's remarkable. But you don't have to know Pali to be able to chant and to remember lines from the teachings or the Dhammapada, or something you may have read that is meaningful for you. memorize that and let that be like a mantra for you. Let that soothe you. Let that bring you back to your practice, because we all need that. We all need to have something to tap into that can help us come back to our own mindfulness. We have that mindfulness within us, and we have the desire, and we have to have some exercises we can use to just bring us back to that. So now we've been saying my wish, and let's do that again as we begin, and I'll read my wish again at the end of the meditation. So you can close your eyes, or you can chant this with me. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with an ocean to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the unwise, only the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. That helps us remember who we are. It helps us remember that we're not only here to take care of ourselves, and that's very important, but we're also here to be of service to others, to help others when we can see. Out of our compassion, we may be able to see what they would need, because it might be exactly what we've needed or what we need at that moment too. So that's an important part of our practice, our compassion, to see what others need that would be the same thing that we would need, and to protect ourselves and take care of ourselves. So keep your spirits up. Right now, we are watching a world that we don't understand, and that confusion may be leading us to some breakthrough in our own understanding about ourselves, and that would be an incredible gift. And I think there are lots of people trying to look as deeply as they can into their own hearts and try to understand through our own hearts, our own thoughts, what's happening in the world. Why is it so difficult for us to be all on the same wavelength about how to get through this pandemic? So we want to think of that in the darkest moments. Even though right now here and where we're living, our numbers are not so bad, but they are rising overall for the state for cases, and if anybody's reading the news or seeing any of it, we recognize there are not good signs out there for what might be coming back our way. But we have to always remember too that this is an opportunity for us to practice, an opportunity to help, an opportunity to be there for other people when they've reached a breaking point, or they need to be comforted, or they need to be, I want to say they need to be hugged, but let's not go there. But they need to be able to have noble friends. And so this is an important time for us. This is where we learn how to understand and work with ourselves. And whenever we can do that, that's our best work. We're working for the whole world. One day, one person, one good thought, one step forward in terms of learning about ourselves, learning what we need to know in this world for us. So because things are so wild and crazy in our world, And sometimes we like it that way, and other times we're kind of tired of it, and other times we're right in the middle of it. So let's sit a little bit longer. And I took, Thursday, I'll have some questions that have come in. We'll talk about those and some answers, and maybe I'll have a little more information about the discussion group or book group or article group that I'd like to get going on Zoom. Okay? So find that spot where you can be relaxed and yet awake. And remember, if you need to take care of your back or your body by lying down, be as comfortable as you need to be, but allow yourself to be awake. Don't get into a posture that will kind of curve your spine more or let you become drowsy. And if you can, gently close your eyes. Become aware of your breath. Our body is already breathing for us. So we want to use that breath as our anchor. To help us become calm and centered. If you feel any kind of anxiety or that shallow breathing up in the top of your chest, take a few deep breaths in and out. And that really helps us become more grounded. By being grounded, I mean we're coming to the present moment. Coming right to ourselves, into ourselves, not kind of floating all over the room, back into our bodies, back to our body home. That's being grounded. So if you're sitting, have your feet on the floor. If your legs are crossed, you can have your bottoms of your feet up, but you'll be solid in that position. Feel solid. Feel connected to the earth. I think we have to, it's really hot here today in Illinois, but we really have to sometimes go outside and just stand on the earth. Go barefoot or shoes, that doesn't matter, but connect with the earth. And just breathe and be there. After a few breaths, deep in and out, then come back to your natural breath. Always remembering these days, start out with that hand on your belly so you feel that breathing has now naturally come down to the bottom of your lungs. We're not forcing it anymore, but we can feel that belly rise and contract. That lets us know that our body is breathing the way it's meant to breathe. It's good for our health, but it allows us to know that we are settling down, we're calming down. We're dealing with our anxiety or the fear we may have tucked away. There are moments when that can just feel very strong. So we're learning a way to deal with that, no matter when it is. Let our bodies have a way to take care of us Their breathing is a very important one. Let's practice loving kindness and goodwill and friendliness towards ourselves. We have to remember this is our primary relationship. To all mothers and loving couples, it's okay for you to feel this way too. And we want to teach our loved ones the same thing. Our number one relationship has to be with ourselves. The way we care for ourselves and feel about ourselves is what makes us able to be with other people. It all has to begin inside of us and radiate out. So if we become our own best friend, if we can be close to ourselves and willing to take care of ourselves, then we'll be there for other people when they need us. We'll be there for the world when it needs us. So be very sincere when you repeat these words. May I be well. May I feel safe. May I be content. May I be able to touch into joy in the small things. May I recognize that joy. And may I be at peace with myself and at peace with the world. May I be free from fear and worry and anxiety. And may I recognize that. When I feel those emotions coming over me, may I know ways to work with them. May I trust in myself. Move out just a little beyond yourself and think of your loved ones, your close friends, your family members, and send these same beautiful thoughts to them. This is the way we can bless not only ourselves, but our loved ones. May each one of my loved ones be well, and may they feel safe in the world, and may they be content and able to feel even the littlest bits of joy and joy from daily things, and allow that to be in their life. May they be free from fear and worry and anxiety. And may they know how to work with those emotions. Coming back to their breath. May our loved ones live in peace. May they find peace in this world. Now let's send these same thoughts out to all of the people in this country. That includes the strangers, the difficult people, our loved ones, our friendly strangers, our acquaintances, our challenges. Mostly strangers, right? But may everyone in this country, may all living beings in this country, all animals, all human beings, all non-human beings, may all these beings be able to be well, may they be content, may they find a way to work with this pandemic in the country, not from fear, but from reality. May our leaders be able to guide us and help us move in the right direction. May we again feel safe in the world. And may we all find peace. Now let's send that same loving kindness and goodwill out to the entire world. To all beings in this world and beyond, the entire system we live in this universe. All human beings, all of our animals and creatures, all non-human beings, our pets and the animals deep in the ocean that no one has ever seen, and beings who live in different dimensions than the human dimension. Absolutely radiate out this quality of goodwill out into infinity. It's a boundless quality. And when we can feel the boundlessness of this loving kindness and goodwill, we feel spacious, we feel open, we get beyond our own small boundaries. We can breathe. We can see a bigger picture. May all beings, human and non-human, be free from suffering and its causes. Be free from fear and worry and anxiety. Free from hunger and thirst. free from the extremes of the weather. May all living beings have shelter. May all living beings take care of each other. Take care of the animals and the earth that we've been given. It's our responsibility. And may all beings be able to live and dwell in peace. So keep sitting if you can, if you have a little bit more time. And while you're still meditating, I'll do my wish again. I keep looking at the words just so I don't blank out. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with an ocean to cross, a lamp, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a refuge for those who like shelter, and a servant to all in need. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the unwise, only the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. So keep practicing. Every minute of every day, keep practicing.